Hi, I'm Nigel Davies. I teach geology at Eastern Washington University. This is Bluff Talks, and today we're going to look at the geology of Spokane, but most importantly, we're going to look at the geology of the Bluff, take you down to some great spots to think about the geology of the Bluff, and yeah, enjoy ourselves because it's beautiful out here. Even though it might be a little dry, we enjoy it out here. I am also a board member of Friends of the Bluff, always looking for good ways to get involved with being part of land conservancy and understanding what goes on in and around your land in Spokane. And this is great because this is city parkland. So let's go on an adventure. We're just up there is 37th and High Drive. Nice little parking lot. Got Highway 195 down in the distance, and we're going to go on a little wander down some of the trails to look at some of the better exposures of geology out here on the Bluff. All right, so we just came down from 37th, down a couple of switchbacks, down some steeper stuff. I actually rode my bike down here. It's a great little spot to be out on a bike, but more importantly, we've brought you to big cut bank on Hangman Creek down there, Latah Creek as some know it. And what's in the background here is one of the really big stories of Spokane. Spokane's geology is a sequence of sand and clay deposits that represent periods of time of slack water, lower energy deposits coming off of the Missoula floods with slightly higher energy deposits, and they're coupled together. So when you look in the background, you see these layers of sand with silts below them. And of course, anytime you're out here riding or recreating or hiking or walking your dog on the Bluff, you're gonna see lots of very powdery sediment. And there's also lots of places where there's lots of sand. So it's actually relatively easy to work together and build a trail. And of course, we've got lots of great trails out here on the Bluff for that. So this represents a period of time during the Missoula floods between 18 and about 14,000 years ago. The Purcell Trench Lobe advances down and blocks off the Clark Fork River, backs it up, and we have flow volumes that come down through the Spokane Valley that are almost 20 million cubic meters per second. So currently today, first off, Hangman Creek doesn't have very much water in it today, which is fine. It's probably down at like 80 to like 100 CFS. Now we're talking 20 million CMS, cubic meters per second, which are like 35 times what a cubic feet per second is. So this is incredible flow volume, and it would have come over the top in times of the South Hill and draped into Hangman Creek. It would have also gone down the Spokane Valley and come the wrong way back up Hangman Creek. And so these deposits that are on the banks and on the flanks of the creek and in on the Bluff are representative of those floods. So this is a great spot to come. Don't get too close to the edge, right? These are soft sediments. They're not the basalt rock that you may have seen everywhere else, and that is, of course, commonly in a lot of the clasts and the broken up fragments that are in and around the trail. When you're running, you might be like, ooh, I gotta avoid that. When I'm biking, you're bouncing through a rock garden, and when you see most of those things, they're mostly basalt. Now you will find, on occasion, places where you see granitic boulders. And those granitic boulders are due to the floods. They're brought here by the floods, draped onto the landscape on top of the basaltic bedrock that would have occupied and filled in Hangman Valley and Hangman Creek back 16 and a half million years ago, when the basalt was oozed from fissures and vents across the Columbia Basin and filled in the paleotopography, the old relict topography of the Columbia Basin. Now, one thing I would like to say, and it's really great, we've got the golf course down here, and there is actually a way to get down to the golf course. And as you're going down there, look for this thin white band. It might be about a meter thick. There's another one just as you're driving down 195 at the far end of this point. And that thin white band represents ash erupted from Mount Mazama 7,800 years ago. So that's the creation of Crater Lake deposited and strewn over the Spokane landscape. So here on the bluff, we've got basalt that's 16 million years old. We've got sediments that range between 18 and 14,000 years old. And then we've got the final icing on the cake, which is that Mazama ash, which is approximately 7,800 years before present. Now, of course, humans have had a big impact here. We've got a highway. This slope is unstable. It continues to erode back as the river destabilizes the toe. So it's an active environment as well. Things don't just pause. We have an active setting right here. But a great place to come at the end of the day, go for a run, go for a ride, get out and enjoy your bluff. We've progressed a little bit further upriver along Hangman Creek, and we're afforded this really great view of some of the cross-bedded sand that is part of the deposits of the glacial Lake Missoula flooding, the Ice Age floods. There's clasts stuck inside them. It's really soft material, and you can see swallows have started to kind of get in there, burrow in, and if you want, you can watch some of our other Bluff Talk videos that detail issues related to the salmon and other fish in the creek with Jerry White, the river keeper, tales of native peoples with Jack Nesbitt, and stories of animals out here with Matthew Juneau. So there's a variety of opportunity to be involved here, thinking on a broad spectrum of scientific and historical components of the bluff, the geology just being one of those components. Personally, I really love the geology. It gets me excited. But I understand if you're more into watching birds or, getting to see that faint moose when it wanders down Hangman Creek. But here, again, more of the Missoula flood deposits, rip-up clasts. We even have a student who's been looking at clastic dikes that perforate and migrate upwards as we are also standing very, very close to the trace of the Latah Fault. And normally when you have a big valley, you get a fault that's driven the valley's location. And that's true here, that there is a big fault that runs down Hangman and Latah Creek and giving it that kind of north-northwest orientation. Also, if you end up on the golf course on Tower T1, you can look and see a nice, beautiful band, another band of that Mazama ash. So this is a great organization, Friends of the Bluff, and we'd love for you guys to help support us. So anything you can give would be much appreciated. Many people live within a stone's throw of the bluff, and they use it on their daily activities. So give what you can so that it maintains its beautiful place, and come out to bluff walks when we actually get to do this in person. We'd love to have you, and yeah, have a great day.